Yo, what up, Street Dogs? Eric Kim. All right, turbo thought of the day. So, lots of turbo thoughts. This one is about like what kind of thoughts do you want to have? The place influences the quality of your thoughts or the type of your thoughts. Also, another turbo thought is thinking about life like a military campaign. So, one big thought I have is, what is the best way to live life? What is the ideal and stuff like that? A simple thought I have is if you think about life like a military campaign, so, there's campaign mode on video games and stuff like that. Essentially, campaign comes from the notion of actually camp, like camping. And if you're like, Alexander the Great, whatever, what you would actually do is set up camp or set up base and stay at a certain place, conduct your military maneuvers, and then you could continue to go to next set point. And so, like when you're traveling or on the road or whatever, I think actually, like if you really do think about like a military campaign, you want to spend some, like you don't want to only be in spot for like a day or two, right? You want to spend some time. I mean, I like the idea is that ideally you want to spend, in a new place which is interesting to you, at least spend a month there, or at least 2 months seems quite ideal. I would actually say at least a month plus, right? And so the nice thing about spending at least a month somewhere is that you can really kind of get a good sense of the real vibes of a place. So for example, I really love Phnom Penh in Cambodia, and we spent around we're only going to stay in Phnom Penh for about a month, but we liked it so much we actually extended our trip, and so ended up spending maybe like 2 months there. And similarly speaking, currently here in the countryside in Korea, in this place called Hadong, which is it's like 40 people in this village. Chilling with my mom in her millennial minimalist house, and yeah, and I think the nice thing is like it's kind of like a semi-nomadic notion, and the reason I don't like like the whole notion of like digital nomad, find location, it just sounds a little bit too soft or weak. Like to simply just be a nomad is like, it's too like passive or weak. I think I'd rather be kind of like a military explorer, or like a general, or like a campaign mode. So think about setting up base or camp somewhere for a certain chunk of time, and then using that time to explore, make photos, and also like, especially when you're abroad in Asia or whatever, like even currently being here in Seoul, South Korea, we got access to a car. So use whatever location you are as kind of like a lily pad or a launch pad to drive to different places, whether you want to go to Busan, or my buddy Josh lives in Iksan, whatever have you. And also the thing to think of and plan for is that when you're on the road, assuming, let's say you're traveling with a kid or wife, like someone's probably going to get sick. And especially when you got like 3 members, so me, Cindy, Seneca, like there's a high likelihood that any one of us are going to be sick at a certain time. So actually having a little bit of buffer space, like I think the really minimum time of travel to go somewhere, I would say 2 weeks, but ideally a month, because once again, buffer time. And now that we're in COVID times, it's important to think and consider about like flight rescheduling, delays, new COVID protocols and stuff like that. And so I would say moving forward in life, give yourself more buffer, like extreme buffer, and never stop campaigning.